Hi guys, hello, welcome. Good to see you all. I'm really happy to be here. It's been a super busy couple months for me, so I haven't been able to be as regular as I would like with this platform, but dust has settled and we're coming back. So today we're going to do a really lush vinyasa, and if you've got them, blocks are going to be a massive help today, and if you've got something you can use as a strap as well, that'll be a really nice one. My strap has gone walkabouts, so I will be using, excuse me, Poppet, excuse me. I'm going to be just using a belt, so you can use a belt, you can use a t-shirt, anything like that. I have a feeling this little one might want to join in a bit today. We'll see how it goes. If if it becomes a bit distracting, I might have to shut him out at some point. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. There's a little meditation I'm going to share towards the end. Should be around 45 minutes today. So, if you want to start as usual, just by finding somewhere that is going to be comfortable for you to settle. It can be seated, it can be lying down. Position itself doesn't have to be too important. But just seeing if you can have a bit of an explore of, what a place of support to begin to land might look like for you today. As you find your way, feel free to take some time. See if there are any little things you can do to support yourself. Stretching the neck, small stretches, big stretches in the body. And we'll begin as usual by finding some release. Through a few deep sighs. Let's take a full inhale in through the nose. Big long exhale. Out through the mouth. A few more like that. If you want to play with releasing tension, let the jaw start to drop. It's a nice one to release a bit more around the face. If sound feels good, try to vibrate around the chest. This next one, go the whole way to empty, just really inviting yourself to start to release. This long exhale, so just going to gently start to slow the heart rate, symbolizing to yourself that you are truly choosing to take this time to drop a little more in towards the heart, in towards these more feeling ways of being. So continue to work with your breath in the way that makes sense for you today. Whether it's a day to not control the breath, just let it flow and watch that rhythm. Whether you want to start to deepen the breath as it is, or start to softly engage in ujjayi, that gentle control of the breath in the back of the throat. To me, breath has this kind of lovely contradiction in it, because it's an amazing way to tune into yourself and to really start to kind of appreciate and feel and be present and ground. And then at the same time, firstly, it's got this really intimate sort of wordless magic to it. It feels very personal. But at the same time, for me, it's also a symbol of something really expansive. Like it, everything breathes, breath is this exchange. In yoga, we use the words prana, which actually translates as life force. It's this kind of invisible force that we all share. And in practice, it's something we're really actively working with time and time again. We're using the breath to draw back to feel, but we're also using the breath to remind us of how connected we are. There's this kind of lovely counterbalance. If you'd like to use a visualization to play with that, if that makes sense for you, it's like the inhale is this feeling into expansion. Maybe it's waking up of all of those little synapses, feeling into the world around you. And then as you exhale, it's like this grounding, this returning, this listening, this kind of coming home. Just a few more breaths here. If you'd like to set a specific intention for what you'd like to embody or explore in movement today, take a moment to be with that now. Okay, then we're going to start to bring in movement and breath together. Your next inhale, we're going to sweep up the arms, bring the hands to prayer, up above the head. Interlace the hands, turn the heels of the hands to the ceiling. Inhale to sit a little taller. Exhale, just gently lean over to the right hand side. So I'm going to mirror you here for now. Take a moment, just find the sensation. Try to let the face be soft. Now your next exhale, going to let you're drawing a semicircle. You're going to keep that movement going and then pause when the hands come forwards in front of you. Now kind of like you're pretending to drive a car. Little movements forwards and back. See if you can keep the breath with you. Your next inhale, draw it up. Exhale, you can release the hands down. If you need any little movements, using that out, go for it. Then we'll do same thing, second side. We're going to inhale, sweep up the arms. Notice the way you instinctively go to interlace your hands, switch over a thumb, switch over your fingers, nice for your brain, lift it up. And then over to the left this time. Just pause, breathe through the sensation. And then drawing it round. Through to center. In front of you, pretending to drive a little car, or just a little rock out side to side. Inhaling the arms up. And then letting them come down. Let's make our way to tabletop. So, if you had any props or you're using anything there, just start to take them out to the side so they're out for the way for now. And if you want to get your blocks set up so they're kind of there for when we need them, if you want to have them towards nearby where your hands would be, that will be lush. Okay, so from here, we're going to start in a puppy pose. So you want to think about trying to keep the hips on top of your knees, but walking the hands forwards, you can sit your chest to the ground. Some of us, the forehead might easily touch down. If there's any space, this is a nice place to use one of your blocks to kind of rest the forehead down onto. So just notice those contact points. Notice the sensations of contact with your mat or the ground. And then we're going to ripple from here. So as you inhale, nice and firmly press through the hands, at the back engage and let it lift. And then as you exhale, we're going to ripple it back down, kind of like you're softening back to the pose. If we think about that beginning intention, here we can quite literally see this inhale to expand, this exhale to soften, to return. Any pinching in the shoulders, hands can go a little wider. Just body and breath beginning to move with one another. Work with one another here. Lovely. When you're ready from here, start to make your way back towards a tabletop position. From here, turn your fingertips so they point towards the longer edges of the mat. And let's start with a little bit of movement out, side to side. So I love this movement. I tend to put it in a lot of classes I teach because it's such a nice way to get into grounding sensations, so really feeling connected with kind of your body in space and connection with the ground. But also it's going to warm up the wrists and the forearms before we take any more weight into them, so it's a nice multi-purpose one. We're going to take circles today, so if you want to start to make some circles in your chest, kind of dropping through center and doming, you can keep that as it is, or if you know there are movements that you want to bring in, you want to be more explorative, more kind of organic in the way you move, feel free to bring your own movements in too. And then if you haven't already, take it back in the other direction, or explore your pattern of movement in the other direction. See how that feels today. Okay, we're going to explore down dog on blocks today, just because it's a nice one to have as an alternative. If you know you get tender in your wrists, it's another nice one to bring in. Also kind of lengthens the arm a bit, which is quite nice for some transitions. So, you want to take your blocks, have the hands onto them, and you want to try have a nice even spread of the fingers. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, and we'll come up towards downward facing dog. Now it's our first full down dog of the practice. Oof. So take your time to settle in. That was my hamstrings saying hello. The movements that feel good. Bending knees, one then the other. If you want to have a bit of a sigh. Or if it's the nervous system that feels a little more charged, a flutter of the lips is quite a nice one. Alright, if you're with me, next inhale, let's lift the right leg up to the sky. We're going to take a bend in the knee and open up the hip, and just kind of notice how the sensation is going to shift. Let the head drop, just one more breath. Now we're going to step the foot towards the hand, so take your time to get there. My blocks are slipping today. When your foot's come towards the hands, we're going to bring the back knee down to start to get in towards the hip flexors. So we're going to drop the hips forward and lift up the chest. Now your hands might be happy on blocks as they are. Depending on your anatomy, you might to take them up a little higher or even higher still. I think about lifting the chest. Then as you exhale, we're going to go through a whole range of motion in the hips. We're going to draw them back, work on straightening that front leg. It doesn't have to go the whole way to straight, that's just the direction, and letting your chin drop to your chest. And then we're just going to kind of flow these two movements, work that kind of rippling again. So inhaling's going to lift, looking up, whole length of breath. Exhale, draws it back. Take your time to find the movement, and then once you've found it, you decide. You can go a little faster, or you can kind of linger in certain spaces. We all carry tension slightly differently, so it's nice to explore sometimes. If there are other things you want to bring in, some suggestions if you'd like them, it can kind of be fun to play with lifting up a pressure point, do what that does. So taking off a hand, or you can take off a knee. You can also work with kind of turning the body. So maybe you're turning your chest to a particular direction, turning your hips to a particular direction. Just a couple more breaths to explore here. And then we're actually going to take this straight to a standing split. It's quite a strong pose from here. So if you're using your blocks, you're going to take them with you. They'll go in front of your foot, and we're going to peel that back leg off. When you're there, inhale or lift the chest. And then exhale to fold it back down, almost like you're trying to go forehead to big toe. One more like that. Inhale or lift. Exhale or fold. We're going to take the feet together. Inhale. Exhale, step the foot to the top of the mat. Uttanasana, chin to chest. Little bend in the knees, little sway side to side. Just warm up sensations around the feet. One foot then to the other. And then let's start to balance the weight between the two. Inhale, we go up halfway. Hands can stay on your blocks, or you can press them to the thighs. Exhale, we fold. One more just like that. Whole length of breath, lengthening forwards. Whole length of exhale, fold it. Whole way to standing, press through your feet. Sweep up the arms, let's look up towards the thumbs. As you exhale, Samastitihi, hands down through prayer. Take a moment here. Now we've worked one side of the body a little more than the other. So take a moment to see if you can feel into that, any subtle differences. Find the ground beneath your feet, lift the head, one more breath. Okay, let's keep flowing. Inhale, sweep up the arms, look up to your hands. Exhale, feel free to bend the knees as you fold. Chin drops down to the chest, like you're looking up to your belly button. Inhale, we're going to come up halfway. Exhale, we're going to take a vinyasa. So you can keep your hands on your blocks, or you can take them to the ground. We work our way back to plank. If you know where you're going, do your thing. You'll lower it down, grip with the fingers, think of looking forward. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, takes you back. Let's all go to down dog just for a breath, and if you want to change it out, you can. So maybe it's down dog with hands on the ground. Could be down dog with hands on blocks, or other options. Tabletop can be a really nice one to take movement around the spine, or if you want to release out the low spine, take a break for the arms, child pose can be quite a nice one too. Going to be here for around another 3 breaths. If you want to move in your pose, you can. For 2. For 1. Okay, we're going to do all of that sequence on our second side. You can take it from down dog or tabletop if you want to mix it up. Inhale, the left leg's going to lift. Exhale, we bend the knee and we open the hip. Just pause, watch the weight shift. One more breath. Exhale, knee to nose. Look where you want your foot to go, and then we're going to start to take it forwards. From there, back knee goes down if it was lifted. Hands can be on the ground or on your blocks. We lift up the chest. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Exhale, we work on straightening the front leg, drawing the hips back. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Just begin to explore the movement. Notice how it feels on this side. There are parts of it that feel similar. Maybe parts that feel a little different. And perhaps see if you can keep bringing in, just every now and then, this intention of care with the way that you move the body. The body does a pretty amazing job supporting us day to day. A practice like this can be a lovely opportunity to kind of offer that support back. If you want to explore, same, maybe it's lifting a knee, maybe it's lifting a hand, turning the chest. You don't have to do exactly the same as you did on your first side. Sides of the body aren't always the same, sorry. So sometimes it's totally okay to treat them differently. All right, let's start to take it towards our standing splits. So your hands or your blocks come in front of the left foot. We inhale to lift the chest, and we exhale to fold. 2 more like that. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. 1 more. As you fold, both feet come to the top of the mat. Uttanasana. Inhale is your Ardha. You lift halfway, look to the tip of your nose. As you exhale and fold, we look to the belly button. Whole way to standing. Press through your feet, sweep up the arms, looking up. Samastitihi. Find the ground underneath your feet, lift the top of the head. If you'd like to, you can press the knuckles of your thumbs gently to the center of the chest. Inhaling for 2. Try soften the eyes. Inhaling for 1. Okay, Surya A. Inhale, sweep up the arms, looking up. As you exhale, we fold. Feel free to bend the knees, Uttanasana, chin to the chest. Inhale, you lift halfway. Your transition, hands to blocks or the ground, walking, stepping or jumping it back. Exhale will lower you down. You decide, whole way down or halfway down tends to be stronger in the arms. Grip with your fingers so you open up the chest. Exhale takes you back. Pose of your choice. 3 breaths, any movements. For 3. Have a little check-in with your jaw. See what it's up to. For 2. And for 1. Inhale, tiptoes. Bend your knees, look to the hands, walking, stepping or jumping. Inhale, we're going to lift halfway. Exhale, we're going to fold. Whole way to standing. Press through your feet, sweep up, look up. Samastitihi. Reset, second set. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, fold. Fold from the middle of the body. Inhale, halfway lift, weight to heels. Exhale, hands to the ground. Walk, step, or you jump it back. Some of us might start to jump and lower the elbows at the same time. We're all gonna meet back. 4 breaths this time. Is it down dog? Is it tabletop? Is it child's pose? Is it your own expression of movement? 2 more breaths. It's always nice to remind yourself as well that it's really, really not a competition. It's somewhere you come to care. Just because your body can do a certain pose doesn't mean it has to. Just because your body maybe doesn't love to be in a certain pose, that doesn't have to be a problem. All right, when you're ready, let's start to make our way back forwards. If you are jumping, think about taking the weight towards your fingers as you come forwards and push the ground away. We inhale to lift halfway. We exhale to fold. Whole way to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. It's like we're trying to stretch from the big toe whole way up towards the thumbs. Samastitihi. It's going to be a Surya B variation, coming into a little bit more sequence, okay? Inhale, chair pose, bend your knees, sweep it up. Exhale, fold, chin to chest, dive it down. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the ground, walking, stepping, jumping back. Inhale, we'll lift. And we exhale back. Now you can do this from down dog or tabletop. Inhale the right leg behind you. Exhale, knee to the nose, dome the spine. Inhale it back. Now look where you want your foot to go. Step the foot to the hands. We're going for a high lunge. So you're going to lift the back knee if it was down, hands to blocks or the ground. Lifting the chest, looking forwards. Exhale, working on bringing the hips back and straightening the front leg. Start to play. So it's really similar to what we did before, right? But we've all taken off the pressure of the back knee. You can always bring it down if that felt better there. Or if you want to explore, maybe you explore. Lifting hands, turning feet, turning the chest. Couple more breaths. Same, we're gonna meet in that standing split. So you take your block slightly in front of your foot, lift off the back leg. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. We're working our way back to take our second side. So you can go straight towards down dog or tabletop. You can vinyasa, or if you're someone that likes to play with taking weight into your hands, we can do a bit of a hop. So if you know me, you might know that I'm someone that likes taking weight into the hands. So what I would do here, I'm gonna look just beyond my fingers and you're really pressing into the ground to work that lift. Now we're thinking of hopping the right foot back first. So you hop that foot back. You can even try bend the elbows as you go. All right, take a sigh. Same thing, second side. Left leg lifts. Knee to the nose. Inhale it high. Step the foot towards your hands. Look where you want for it to go. Nice, hands to blocks or hands to the ground. Start to drop the hips, lift the chest. Notice how it feels. And then shift, pyramid. And then play. You can take it slow, you can take it quick, you can pause in certain moments, sensations, explore. When you decide you feel ready, let's make our way towards our standing splits. Lifting the chest and exhaling to fold. 2 more like that. You start to plan your transition, either taking a little hop, weight to the hands look just beyond your fingers to hop it back. You can vinyasa or you can meet us back. Pose of your choice. 3 breaths. Child's pose, tabletop or downward facing dog. For another 2. And 1. We're going to come back to the top of the mat. Tiptoes, walking, stepping, or jumping. When you're there, let's lift up halfway. Exhale, folds. Whole way to standing, press through the feet, sweep it up. Hands through prayer. So hopefully we're a little warmer now. So we're going to turn the toes out so they come a little wider, bring the feet a little wider, and we're going to Malasana. So we're inhaling here. Exhaling to drop down the hips. So this one can often be pretty intense for lots of us. So movement can be a really nice option if it feels a little more intense for you. And I've got a couple options depending on how you're feeling today. We can keep it here, or if you're enjoying the side to side and you want somewhere to go, you can play with what it would feel like to take a knee down towards the ground and then shift it over. Now, this pose is often used as a prep towards crow. If you're working on crow, do your thing. I know some people that are quite comfortable in crow, so if you want something else to work with, try claw on blocks. It's going to feel different for your wrists and for your brain. So we're going to come forwards, and then, so you might just be working here, but if you're stable, work a side to side toe tap. So it's like one foot is trying to tap onto your wrist, you bring it back, and then you bring it back. So you're going to have to move your eyes to do that. We're all going to meet with the feet back on the ground. If you were anywhere else, lift up the chest, straighten the legs, heel toe it in. Inhale, lifts up halfway, and exhale, folds. Okay, we're going to get our strap. So you're going to take your strap around your right foot. I'm going to mirror you here. So the blocks, what we're going to do with the blocks is we want to be able to press our left hand down. If you can easily do that on the ground, you can totally be there, but otherwise your blocks can be a nice support. Same with the strap. If you normally really like to go for peace finger, you can, but the strap's going to be really helpful otherwise. So, first we're going to compress the hips. You're going to lean over to the left. You're going to see if you can pick up your foot. It's like you're trying to draw it into the hip socket and then take it back down. Okay, same thing, but you extend that leg to the side. It is trickier than it looks. So you shift, and you're going to think of kicking, lifting up the chest, and take it down. Very nice. Look at the legs shake. All right, now same thing, but you come up to a balance. You're going to take your left hand to your hip. Inhale, prepares. Exhale, 2 bent legs or 2 straight legs to start to lift you up. Find a drishti, lift the head. Now the wobbles get a bad rep, but they're helpful. Actually catching a wobble is one of the most effective ways to build your strength. All right, from here, when you're ready, you're gonna open it out. Try to keep the hips square. If you wanna go higher, lift the leg, but try not to lift the hip. If you're comfy, look the other way. For 2. Bring it back. Gonna place it down. Kind of almost like nothing happened. And we fold. All right, so we're gonna add on. If you haven't been using a strap so far, I would kind of recommend it for this next one, and you might want a little bit of length here. So I'm just gonna show you what we're doing, and then I'll give you some time to have a go. So it's gonna be the same as that second standing sequence. Start with the left hand on your hip. You're gonna start to peel it up. You know, you go at your pace. I'm very wobbly today. You're gonna open it out. Then you're gonna bend your knee and bend your elbow. You're gonna take it out to the side and feel like you're taking the elbow forward. So we're going bound dances. Now this is hard, so you might just hold it here, work the balance. Some of us, if you're quite comfy, you can go both hands to your strap or start to walk them down. If you're stable there, we'll squeeze the elbows in. You can even lean forwards a bit, all right? So if you haven't already, you're gonna start peeling it up. Find somewhere you can fix your gaze, squeeze on that supporting glute. It goes out, you bend. Keep breathing if you can. Whenever you're ready, ping it back down. Let's all meet, forward fold. Let's go back to Malasana. You're gonna heel toe your feet out nice and wide, drop down the hips. So, same 2 options. You can work side to side, you can work taking that deeper, whoop, knees to the ground, or you can work that in the hands. Those of us working in the hands, if you want somewhere else to go, work on extending a leg. I'll show you what I mean. So you're gonna shift forwards, look forwards. Then as you twist, you're gonna extend the opposite leg. Just means you're carrying a bit more weight. It's gonna be a bit more for the core. Sound effects welcome. Okay, same thing second side. Straighten your legs. Get yourself set up. So, blocks, strap. This time it's going to be strap around your left foot. First we work hip compressions. So, take the weight towards the right. Feel like you're trying to pull the leg into your hip socket and then take it back down. Same, extend the leg out to the side. Think of lifting up the chest and taking it down. Very nice. All right. We go to balance, right hand to the hip. Inhale, prepares 2 bent legs or 2 straight legs. You're gonna peel it up. When you're there, think of lifting the chest. If you're quite comfy, you can dial that left shoulder back. When you're ready, you open it out. If you're gonna test your balance, you look away from the foot. Pretend it isn't there. For 2. For 1, bring it back and down to the ground. Same, but we're gonna add in bound dances. Okay, let's do it. Hand to the hip, nice long strap. Start to shift, peel it up, out, bend, elbow. Couple breaths, try to keep breathing. Start to release. Well done, gang. All right, you can take your strap out to the side and your blocks out to the side for now as well, actually. Okay, we're gonna make it back down to the ground. So, from here, take yourself back to your Tadasana, plant the feet. Soften the gaze. And then let's flow. Inhale, sweep up the arms, look up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We're making our way to down dog. If you're enjoying your vinyasas, you go for it. If you're with me, we can always go straight there. Okay, we're going to work some variations of our wild thing. Let's start with the knees on the ground and inhale the right leg behind you. Then you bend the knee and open up the hip. You're going to feel the weight shift. Now instinctively, I take the left foot to the side. That's a nice one to do with balance because we're going to be stepping that right foot to the ground, peeling the right arm up to kind of lift up the hips and the heart, open up the whole front of the body. 2 big breaths here. And start to look back towards your supporting hand. Take it back. Tabletop. You can take free movement. If you want more of a release, child's pose. All right, then options. You can do exactly what we just did again, or you can work your way towards your full wild thing. So we're going to inhale the right leg. So full wild thing would just be taking it from downward facing dog, but the movement's exactly the same. You bend the knee, you open the hip, you take the foot to the ground. You're going to lift up the hips and the heart. Then this time, again, we take it back. But we're going to go to pigeon. So bring the right knee towards your wrist, drop down the shin. If you want to use blocks, options. Some people like to go blocks under hands. Some people like to go blocks under hips. You're going to lift the chest. Find that ripple again. Exhale, heart forwards. One more like that. Inhale, lifts. And exhale, folds. You might go forehead to blocks. You might go forehead to the ground, to your hands. A few breaths softening it out here. All right, guys. Come back up to upright. Same thing, second side. If you want to vinyasa along the way, you're absolutely welcome to. If you're coming with me, we're going to work our way straight to tabletop, and we'll all meet there. So any free movement, if you come straight to tabletop, if you're vinyasing, do your thing. Then let's start in that supporting wild thing. So left leg goes back. We bend the knee, we open the hip. You might hold, you might take the right foot to the side, or you can take the foot to the ground to lift up the hips and the heart. 2 breaths, squeeze on the glutes. Feel like the left shoulder's trying to lean back. Slowly take that back. You can move in tabletop, you can come to child's pose. Same, options to do what we just did. We'll do the same but from down dog. The left leg will lift. The foot goes to the ground. Hips and heart to the ceiling. For 1. We take it back and we meet in pigeon. If you're using your blocks, take your time to get set up. Then rippling with your count of breath. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to fold. 2 more. And then resting in your sleeping swan. When you're ready, start to bring yourself back up to upright. We had a block under your left hip, take it to the side. So we're going to roll the weight to the left. Take your right foot the whole way forwards. And we should be seated. You can take your blocks to the side. I'm just going to come so I'm facing you. Take the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Inhale's going to lift the chest. Exhale, we're really going to focus on doming in this variation today to just kind of have a bit of a counter for some of those back bends. Really let the chin drop to the chest and the back of the neck drop down. So if the arms are kind of resting, you can have hands on ankles. Some of us might rest elbows to thighs. If you're down a little lower, you can always go elbows to blocks or to the ground. 3 breaths. once you've finished your 3 breaths, we're going to make our way to the ground. I'm just going to turn the lights down a little bit. If you have any lights or things you want to switch off, take a little moment. Once you've found the ground, you can take the knees to the chest, give yourself a nice big squeeze. If there are movements that feel good, feel free to move. Side to side, forwards, back. I'm going to bring us through a happy baby today, so the feet can go wide, hands might go towards the legs or towards the feet. Some people like to move, straighten the legs, bend the legs, rock side to side. And then as always from here, it's just some time for you. So any last movements or last poses you want to take before we come to find our resting space today? Kind of like twisting, inverting. If there's a closing pose you really love, feel free to take your time to guide yourself through. So take all the time you need. If you need to put me on pause, please go ahead. But no, your closing pose is always totally yours. Most importantly, it's just a space you can give yourself some support. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to give a really short meditation for anyone that would like to give it a go. And your meditative seat is the seat of your choice. Can be lying down, can be seated, whatever kind of makes the most sense for you. As and when you found where you'd like to be, I'm going to offer out just one final variation of a sigh that can be a really nice one for release. So we can take a full inhale in through the nose. Hold that on full. Sip a bit more air through the mouth. Then just a tiny bit more. Then you sigh it all out. If that feels good, a couple more like that, as many as you like. If you'd like to be in a more traditional Shavasana, this is your time just to really release. Start to let go of the physical movements and give yourself time to soften. If instead you'd like to engage in meditative practice, physically you can stay exactly as you are. But you can instead start to collect your awareness on your breath. Just breath by breath, drawing yourself in. Dropping back to the heart. And breathing gently, I want to invite you to start to visualize yourself in your mind's eye. Almost kind of like you're just sitting before you. See if you can really gently, but really clearly see yourself there. Begin to focus on the body that you inhabit. Perhaps the preciousness of that body. And then breathing deeply, invite yourself to enter the expansive field that is your eyes. Invite yourself to enter the expansive field that is your eyes. Breathing slowly. Feel your soul like a pool of clear water just beneath your eyes. Feel your soul like a pool of clear water just beneath your eyes. And lastly, breathe fully and feel the water of your spirit wash against the shore of your body. Feel the water of your spirit wash against the shore of your body. If you've been in meditative practice, when it feels like the right moment, you can let the effort soften. And then we're all going to start to return together. So that might look like starting to deepen your breath again. Just noticing how it feels to bring back a bit more connection with breath to the body. And in your own time, in your own way, you can just start to let that expand. So whether that's expanding the breath, yawning, whether it's moving, sighing, stretching, maybe finding a little body to contact, body to body contact, thanking yourself for the time that you've taken today. And then no rush, please feel free to take the time you need. But once you decide you feel ready, we will work our way to seated, where we're going to close today. When you're there, you can let the head lift, the shoulders drop, and gently lift the center of the chest. Take a moment to be present with the time that you carved out, to be present with the effort and the patience and the care that might have gone into your practice. Take a moment to check in. Just feeling yourself here. You don't have to have the words for it. Excuse me. But just being with your experience. If you'd like to, you can come back to that kind of contradiction, the kind of magic in that. Inhaling into expansion. Exhaling to home, to grounding. When you're ready, we'll take the hands to prayer, center of the chest. Take a Final inhale. And exhale to bow the head. Bowing to your heart and your hands and your body. Take the time you need to thank yourself. Close your practice down before returning to the space. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Questions, anything